Alright, so you get home from your excursion out in the wild, and it's time to put some of your gear up. And you look down and you see your 4-liter Sawyer water purification system. So you got to empty the water out of it. Now, actually I didn't put any dirty water in this. I did prime it, and this has nothing but clean water in it. But anyway, so if you call Sawyer, they tell you you can just empty the water out and air dry it. And that may be all you need to do, but I'm not entirely comfortable doing that, because the bag kind of sticks to itself on the inside and the water kind of seals it somewhat closed. And so what I like to do is take these hoses off. Now this one here is completely dry, and that's because the way I dry it works. And I did dry it out, and then I did, to complete the drying process, air dry it overnight, and it's dry on the inside. This one I air dried overnight without doing anything else to it, and it was still wet on the inside. I have added some more water to it though for this demonstration. And I'll talk about the filter later, how to dry it, which, okay, I'll talk about that later. So what I would do, I'd take these hoses, go outside, make sure this clamp is open, and just, you know, kind of troll them or spin them around to use centrifugal force to get the water out. And the hoses seem to, hang on, my timer's going off. The hoses seem to air dry because that clear hose that you hook up to the faucet, that one I just drained the water out of it, laid it on the countertop, and it air dried. But I think that's because it's like a Nalgene bottle. You know, if you take a Nalgene bottle, open it up and tilt it, it'll air dry. But these bags, they kind of, the water sticks together and they close upon themselves. So take the hoses off, spin them around, get the water out of it, and they'll air dry. And then this thing, what you can do is simply open it up and hold it like this, and just, you know, let gravity get most of the water out. See how that gets most of the water out? Isn't that nice? And then Sawyer says, okay, just let it air dry. So you're going to maybe hang it up like this somewhere, and supposedly it'll dry, but I guess it may after a week or so. But this is still wet on the inside, and it closes upon itself. So what you can do is get this is a pistol cleaning rod. It's brass, or you get any gun cleaning kit. You can maybe use a coat hanger. You can maybe use a piece of wood. This works for me. This is brass. Make sure it has one of these on here. You could probably get this in plastic, but I'm not worried about that. And you just put a cloth in here, and you put the cloth like that so you don't poke a hole in your bag. And then you take it and gently put it in here like that, and So you just move it all around the bag. Make sure you move it on the edges. Be careful not to poke a hole. And hopefully you grasp the concept. And that gets all the water out of it. See, this is damp. That gets all the water out of it, except it won't be wet in here. It'll still be a little bit damp. And now you can air dry it. But to really help it air dry, you take a coat hanger. Okay, take the coat hanger apart. This one has rubber on it. I wouldn't use this end. Take the coat hanger apart. Gently put it in the hole here. And of course you'll do this with both bags. And this, and you know, maybe you could put 2 or 3 coat hangers in there. But this opens the bag up, see? And allows it to air dry. It allows air to get to it. Now, if you use that rod in there on a rag, that'll get most of the water out. So you'll just have a little more water you need to air dry with this method. And this works for me. There may be a better way of doing this. I don't know. This is what I'm going to use. On this filter here, I would open up the filter and let that completely air dry. Wipe it down with a cloth if you want. This filter, I would just do what they say for long-term storage. Put a cap full of bleach in 1 liter of water and run it through the system. And then a month later or so when you use it, I would run a cap full of bleach with liter of water through the filter again, just to kind of sterilize it, so to speak. And use as many cloths as you need. And so right now it's 2014, and many people may think, so what? Well, a long time ago, Jesus, I'm talking about Jesus Christ, the one spoken about in the Bible, was at a drinking well, and he's spoken to a Samaritan woman, and they were at a well drinking water. And Jesus said, "Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life." And then many other things were said between the woman and Jesus, and this is recorded in the book of John, chapter 4. And you're welcome to read it for yourself. But one thing Jesus also said in this chapter, "But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth." The woman said unto him, I know that Messiah cometh, which is called Christ. When he is come, he will tell us all things. Jesus saith unto her, I that speak unto thee am he. And so, anyway, okay, that's enough of that with chapter 4. But anyway, you know, many people may think, okay, it's 2014, so what, who cares? Well, the point I'm trying to make is, when Jesus was crucified, the world decided that all recorded time before his birth was to be referred to as BC. and all recorded time after his birth was to be referred to as AD. So this is 2014 AD, 2014 years after the birth of Christ. So if you think, Jesus is just someone to snicker at and make fun of, and you don't need to respond to Christ or consider Christ, well, that's up to you. But whether you believe it or accept it or agree with it, one day you're going to have to answer how you responded to Christ. And, when I started making this video, I was just thinking about Jesus being at the well with that Samaritan woman and what he said about living water and water. So I hope this helps you out with your water purification, bag cleaning concepts when you get back from your excursions. Enjoy yourself out in God's creation.